Hey guys, welcome back to the Foolish Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you really like it, hit that subscribe. Just wanted to give you some of my foolish thoughts after Michigan's 63-55 loss to the Villanova Wildcats. And a few thoughts come to mind. One is this really reminded me a lot of the UCLA loss last year in the Elite Eight matchup, I think it was. And obviously the winner goes to the four. Is this like Michigan just never got on a hot streak? Michigan could not put together 3-4 possessions in a row with scoring points and getting stops. So, I mean, if you really look at it, Villanova and Michigan were pretty even. And then there was a little spurt there in the second half where Villanova hit a couple threes. The lead was holding at 4, 5 points, 6 points, and all of a sudden, boom, it got up to 9. I mean, just all of a sudden it was just there. And Michigan and Villanova just stayed at that between 6 and 10 basically the rest of the game. I don't know if it really got to 10, but 6 and 9. And Michigan just couldn't chisel away at it. And it was just frustrating in the way that you would see Hunter Dickinson just miss little bunny shots that he normally hits. You would see Eli Brooks, Devontae Jones, basically everyone go to the hoop and just miss layups. And I'm no basketball expert, right? These are just my thoughts. But I was driving home listening to the radio breakdown. It was the national broadcast of the game. And they're just saying, it's like, how does Villanova, how are they deemed so good defensively, not get called for more fouls? Because they're just so physical. And they're saying what Villanova's really good at doing, and give Coach Jay Wright real props for this, is the team goes up and they play good defense with their hands, and they really bump you with their legs and such and get you off balance that way, and the refs don't call them that way. That's just what the national media was saying. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's why. They said Michigan just was not able to play through the contact. And the way the refs called the game, I'm not saying the refs called a terrible game. The refs are always terrible, but I'm not blaming the refs for this loss. But the way they called the game really suited that style of Villanova defense. Just what it is, right? So every time you had Hunter Dickinson and Moussa Diabate down there, they'd be swarmed, and the refs weren't calling any of those fouls. I mean, Dickinson only got to the free throw line in the last, minute of the game. It's crazy. So, obviously Villanova played defense well. They played defense well with how the refs called. So, whether, they adjusted well to it, they played with how they played good defense for how the refs were calling the game. And Michigan just could not hit a shot. I mean, you just look, Hunter Dickinson, 15 points, okay. You really wanted him to get to 20, 25 points. He was 6 of 16. And so many of his shots were just little shots. He normally hits those. Eli Brooks, I think, was 0 of 6 in the first half. He hit 3 3-pointers in the second half. I think he finished with, Eli Brooks finished with 14 points, but 5 of 14 shooting. It's a couple times there where he should have taken the 3. He had just made 1 or 2 in a row, and then he passes up for a Hunter 3-pointer. It's man, you just, from the same spot, take the shot. Take the shot. And he passes on it. It's I guess that's just the way Eli Brooks' career ends. I don't want to be an Eli hater, but he just seemed to never, in my mind, play as well as all the hype he got. The professor and thinks through the game so well. I just never got that feel from him. Maybe I'm wrong. Fine. But Eli just always seemed a little underwhelming to me. Now, I don't want to harp on the refs, but I really got to question a couple plays here. The game was tightish, right? I think it was a 6-point game. Diabate had just gone down for a nice pass. Got a dunk. Michigan got a stop. Come back down. Diabate is going up for another dunk. Great pass. And he's going up for the dunk. The guy slaps the ball out of his hand. But as he does, his arm comes down, hits Diabate in the head, on the arm, and it's not a foul. How is that not a foul? I don't care that you hit the ball first. You can't just plow through a guy after you hit the ball. That's not the way it's called. But the next possession, going out defensively, rebound, Devontae Jones just gets crushed. Loose ball foul. Just gets crushed. No foul. How is that not a foul? He just gets run through. Oh, the ball was away. So now if the ball's not around, you can just crush someone? And then the subsequent possession they had there, Diabate gets called for a little nudge on the guy who gets an and one. So like 3 straight calls that made absolutely no sense. I don't understand what the refs are calling, and that's what makes it so frustrating. It seems like the calls they made were ticky-tack nothings, and they let like the big fouls go. So I just don't understand what the refs were really doing. Again, the refs did not cost Michigan the game. Their poor shooting, 34% for the game, 33 from 3, and only 7 of 14 on free throws cost Michigan the game. It's just like Michigan was down by 3 at halftime. They could have easily been up if they hit their free throws. And Devontae Jones has had a clunker of a game, 7 points, 3 of 6 shooting, but right in the second half, he had a terrible pass to Hunter Dickinson, who had a position for hopefully a make. The next possession, he comes down and takes a stupid charge when he could have dished off to Brandon Johns. Speaking of Brandon Johns, I mean, he played some defense, but 0 of 5 from the field. That's the way his Michigan career ends. Hopefully, it's the end of his career. 0 of 2 on free throws, 0 of 5 from the field. Like, thanks. But man, like, I don't know why he plays. I mean, I think Falls would be able to actually be more effective. Maybe not defensively, but man. Not that I expected Michigan to win the game. Villanova's a number 2 seed for a reason, right? But it's like, that's the disappointing part. It's kind of like the season in a nutshell, right? If Michigan was playing well, they win this game easily. Give credit to Villanova. They played defense. They played defense the way the refs let them play. Great. But man, Michigan can't do anything. So many missed layups. Even when Villanova's trying to give you the layups at the end, just keep you off the 3-point line. Devontae Jones just hits a backboard. Eli Brooks misses one. It's like, what is up with this? They're layups, guys. Layups. What a frustrating loss in that way, where Michigan had chances. And I guess that's just the crux of the season. Michigan really hoped that they were going to have Caleb Houston come in and be a shooter. Well, some games he'll be on, and most of the games he's not. I mean, he started off 2 of 2, maybe 2 of 3 with a 3 and a layup. Nothing the rest of the game. Diabate had those little jump hooks. Couldn't hit them. It's just, the potential there just did not develop. And it'll be interesting to see in the offseason what Michigan does. Big questions all across the board, right? Does Devontae Jones come back? I think he can come back with a COVID year. Eli Brooks is gone. Brandon Johns is gone. Nunez, I think, is gone. So at least that's a bench scholarship that's freed up. Will other people leave to get playing time is always a question. What about Hunter, Diabate, and Houston? Are they going to go pro? Are they going to test the waters? Just, go get paid? Get drafted in the second round on potential? Get paid and go to the G League, make $100,000 or whatever it is? Instead of, Big Ten basketball, go get paid? Or maybe the NIL here will, make an impact and get, the team in to, get Hunter Dickinson and stuff to come back because his NBA potential is pretty low. He doesn't have quick feet. So, Michigan goes out, Sweet 16 round, but again, it's not going to be the big story. The big story is that Gonzaga lost to Arkansas. The number 1 seed is slain. I had Gonzaga. I picked Gonzaga to win the title. I thought they were going to do it, and this again just points again how, I know they played a tough schedule, Gonzaga did, but they just don't win in the tournament. It's just different. 1-game tournaments are just tough. So I'm not saying Gonzaga's not a good team, but, they don't win. I don't know. Lots to think about. Lots of missed opportunities, and Michigan just didn't make the shots, and that's just the theme throughout the whole year, right? I mean, it's very rare that you make your shots and win the game, right? Let's be honest. Maybe the Purdue first game where we lost by, a high-scoring game, we made our shots. Last night, Michigan did not make the shots, and they lose by 8 points. It's a game that was there if they just would play better, and they don't. Too many missed bunnies, too many missed opportunities, and this is how it goes. Kudos to Villanova. They get the win. They go on to the Elite 8 game to play either, I think it's Arizona or Houston. So, what do you guys think? My buddy was asking me, do you think this season is saved at all by Michigan making the Sweet 16? It's a tough call. What do you guys think? I mean, the hype of this team, getting Devontae Jones, getting the number 1 recruiting class, was that, you know, they were ranked in the top 5, 6, whatever it was to start the year. You were like, they were picked to win the Big Ten. So I think it is a big, big, big disappointment, even though they make the Sweet 16. Because they were supposed to be a good team, and they were not a good team. And during the season, they really never were a good team. I think their best stretch was they won 3 games in a row. That's not a good team. Let me know, guys. Do you think, how bad of a season is this, right? Obviously, it's not a good season. Does making the Sweet 16 save the season? A little bit. But still, not much. Because Michigan, top team. But then, just throw it out there. Just think, Gonzaga, #1 team in the country. They don't make it any further than Michigan either. So, it is what it is. So at least you kind of can think about it that way, right? Michigan finishes, I think, 19-15 on the year, and they went just as far as Gonzaga did. It's crazy basketball, single elimination games. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I'll try to respond to those comments as I'm able to. Until I see you guys for the next Michigan video, as always, go blue.